guys, how's it going? Alex Scott here with Consordini.com. Thank you so much for checking out another one of our super cool studio gear reviews. We are taking a look at another contact library from the fine folks at Chris Hein. This is Orchestral Winds Compact. Now, I'm going to keep this video a little bit shorter because we've already taken a look at two of their other contact libraries. We have the Orchestral Strings Compact, which I really like. There's a lot of very strong like solo violins and stuff in that one that I really enjoy using. We also have taken a look at Orchestral Brass Compact, which is a little bit less full-featured, but still has some really nice ensemble brass sounds. So now we're taking a look at Orchestral Winds and kind of some of the stuff that it comes with. Now, in terms of features, I would recommend you guys go look at the Orchestral Brass video because it's basically exactly the same. We have all the same stuff in terms of some basic controls over crossfade between notes, velocity. Then we have the same kind of body and room reverb features, same ensemble controls, transient controls, and then also 5 articulations, and those articulations are the same as what comes in the brass libraries. We have sustained, dynamic expression, and 3 different short articulations. It does have key switching, so if you're doing your MIDI scoring, you can of course go down there in those kind of lower octaves and do the whole key switching thing for your articulations, which is very handy. But that's really all there is to it. I go into a little bit more detail on this in the brass one, but neither the brass or the wind libraries are as full-featured as the string library, where you actually have multiple different tabs with a lot more control kind of over things like vibrato and a lot of this stuff. The strings library is a lot more full-featured in that regard. Now, we also, in the other 2 libraries, their focus is a little bit different. So in the strings library, it comes with a ton of stuff. It has full ensemble sections for the 4 string instruments: violin, viola, cello, and bass. In the brass one, we have French horn, trombone, and trumpet, a solo option, or 3 different solo options rather, an ensemble option for each. But in this winds one, we don't have as much in terms of section stuff. These are designed to be used a little bit more as solo instruments. You can definitely, of course, you can play chords on each one, especially if you put them into this polyphonic mode here. That allows you to do more chord-based work, but it doesn't have these ensemble settings where it's actually pulling multiple voices all at once. Now, you can kind of fake that if you go over here into this ensemble, but it's not quite as dedicated as these other libraries where we just have like the French horn ensemble sound that's going to load all of those automatically. Here, it does seem to be a little bit more focused on using these more in a solo context, which I think is really interesting. So I just want to go ahead and we'll just jump right into listening to some of the sounds. And right now, this is their basic flute, C flute number 1. And another thing that I love, and this is something that's in all of these libraries, we have this fun little picture here, and you guys can watch that as I play. And it actually has a little diagram of the fingerings, which I think is cool. It makes you feel like you've got a little magic flautist or violinist or whatever hiding in your computer. So it's kind of a fun little touch. But here is the basic C flute sound. Very nice, very pure. That's on the sustain articulation. Let's hear the dynamic expression articulation, which is usually a little better for solo playing. Very pleasant. I like that a lot. It's a lot darker than I was expecting. There's not a lot of that kind of breathiness that we associate with a lot of flute sounds. I'm actually curious. Let's listen to the flute too, because there are 2 options for this particular flute. Maybe this one is going to be a little bit breathier. I like that a lot more. Okay, that's good to know. I hadn't actually pulled that one up yet. That's very cool. So you actually have 2 different options for that sound. It looks like that might be the case with some other instruments in here. We have like 2 different bassoon voicings, it looks like. We have a few different oboes. So it does give you some nice tonal variation there. And this flute is much more what I would expect when I pull up a flute. And the note-to-note feels really, really, really nice, especially for a solo instrument. I think that could be very, very convincing when played on its own. Very cool. It's feeling a little stronger than the brass library so far. I dig it. So let's go ahead and jump down to, let's see here, bass clarinet, a personal favorite of mine. I heard some key clicks in there. That's very cool. That feels great. That might be the best bass I mean, not like I've sat here and studied bass clarinet sounds, but that's gorgeous. I absolutely love that. And I heard some key clicks in there, which is very, very cool. I don't know if I'm not seeing anywhere where you can really control that as such, but what a cool feature. Man, that was awesome. That took me by surprise. That sounds absolutely gorgeous. I would use that solo all day long. Let's check out this oboe. Love that as well. Very, very nice. Love that. Feels very, very convincing. Again, note-to-note transitions are very nice. Let's just for kicks, let's hear this alternate oboe sound here. So much like the flutes, you have one that's a much darker flute that's probably going to work a little bit better for ensemble work. And then here we have the slightly darker oboe, and this is a much woodier, breathier sound. Very cool. Extended range. It's another cool thing about all the Chris Hein stuff. It lets you know when you've left the range of the instrument, but it doesn't actually cut off. Kind of a handy feature. Yeah, this oboe sound doesn't sound as good. It sounds much better played solo. It doesn't sound as good as the oboe one when played as an ensemble. Very cool. English horn, another favorite instrument of mine. Beautifully expressive, really nice tone, great detail. Bassoon 1. Very nice. Try the dynamic expression articulation. gorgeous. Really, really nice. These, quality-wise, actually might be some of my favorite sounds between the three libraries. I'm very, very impressed. Note to note, as you guys can hear, it feels very, very natural. It doesn't have that kind of weird machine gunny effect, for lack of a better term, where you can tell it's sampled. This really feels incredibly authentic. I love it. So let's compare that bassoon to this Baroque bassoon. Yep. So here we've got this, the same thing as the oboe and the flute. We've got here a much breathier, much more articulate, much more solo focused sound, it seems like. Really nice. There's a little bit of note-to-note weirdness on that one, but still a very, very nice sound. Okay, well, that's quite a few of them. I think that's probably pretty solid. You guys get the point. This is a killer-sounding library. Overall, between the three, I'm very, very impressed. There's some awesome quality sounds going on in these libraries. I think they're really, really slick. They're some of the best overall, just quality-wise, some of the best scoring libraries I've ever heard. And I work normally with Miroslav Philharmonic from IK Multimedia is my normal library that I use for scoring stuff, and that's what I was using almost exclusively before I got these libraries from the Chris Hein guys. And Philharmonic is great in that it's incredibly simple, and the sounds are pretty good. And for the kind of stuff that I do, where I work on a lot of indie video games, on small budget stuff where the turnaround time is really, really quick. They're not as worried about incredibly convincing sounds. They just want something workable. They don't necessarily have a huge budget. Philharmonic it's fast, it's snappy, it's really easy to use. It doesn't have near this amount of control as even this does, and even this is like a compact interface, I think, from their big boy versions. But it just works well for me because it is very quick and easy and simple to use. However, now that I have these Chris Hein ones, I'm very tempted to switch over and start using them because they just sound absolutely incredible. The articulation is great. It just, in terms of the sound quality, the amount of detail that's gone into each sample and the care that's been taken with the recording is incredibly impressive. And for most of them, the solo strings and then definitely a lot of these wind instruments, it really, there's a soul to it, and the way that they've set up the library and the way the samples can be played feels incredibly expressive, incredibly natural. Overall, I'm very, very, very impressed. So I definitely recommend you take a look at them, especially if you do a lot of work where you need great orchestral sounds. I think these are some of the best of the business. They stand right up there with like the East West Hollywood Orchestra stuff, which I know is a big, real popular one with bigger scoring guys. Overall, fantastic work. Thank you again so much to Chris Hein and his team for sending me licenses for these three libraries. I really, really deeply appreciate it. I hope people will go and buy them. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you found it informative. And if it looks like something you'd use in your workflow, I think it's an awesome, awesome, awesome choice. So big ups to Chris Hein, big ups to his team. Killer job. Love them, and hope you guys will love them too. But what other orchestral libraries do you guys like? Do you have particular ones that you really like to use for your scoring purposes? Definitely let me know what they are in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys are using, and I just always appreciate getting to have a conversation with folks who watch my stuff. So as always, if you have not yet subscribed to the Consordini channel, please do that as well. It really helps us out. If you want to click that notification bell, you'll be notified whenever we post new videos. If you enjoyed this video, want to give it a like or a share, that would be awesome. But regardless, my name is Alex Scott with Consordini.com. Thank you again so very much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.